AEW release the CM Punk CCTV footage on Dynamite. Punk's response, the Bucks' response, and everyone else's response, including mine. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
It's been a tribalistic recent time in wrestling. Fans have divided themselves into two borderline toxic camps. The righteous, who think CM Punk's pipe bomb promo is better than Steiner math, and stupid idiots who think math is better than pipe bomb. But now we can move on from that. After last week's PFK tournament, where I defeated Luke Owen fair and square, the pipe bomb was objectively proved as better. I want us all to be positive about wrestling now. We're living through the most exciting period of a generation. We should be grateful for that, and we should support each other. Also, here's some footage of Luke Owen being lame.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, famouser!
This is the mixed messaging we've had over the last week from AEW. Following CM Punk's Ariel Helwani interview on April Fool's Day, where he said some nice things, but mostly negative things about AEW and its president Tony Khan after he was fired for cause from there last summer. Adam Copeland opened the episode of Dynamite 2 days later with a rah-rah speech about how we should all be positive about wrestling, a sentiment totally undermined in the very next show, where AEW aired the CCTV footage of the incident that got Punk fired, the online wrestling discourse version of chucking a Molotov cocktail into a dumpster full of cooking oil. 40 minutes into the broadcast, AEW EVPs, are both real and kayfabe behind-the-scenes position. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson had a pre-filmed interview where they spoke about the last time they fought FTR at last August's All In which they lost. They blamed this loss on them having to deal with the fallout of Punk's altercation with Jack Perry. While they never actually said Punk's name, they quoted his previous promo line: "If you've got a problem with Jack Perry, you're probably the problem." They called Perry a scapegoat in this situation, as he hasn't appeared in AEW since, and even theorized FTR were the masterminds behind the incident, before Matthew stopped Nick, saying you can't just spread rumors on a national forum. That's very unprofessional, which is likely a shot at Punk, but also a hypocritical heel shot at themselves. I think. Do they know what the story is? This was all to build their fourth clash with FTR at Dynasty in 2 weeks. So at least they did try to use this to promote a match they can actually deliver on, not using the other promotion's stars. The actual footage was eerily silent, as it's just a CCTV recording. You see Jack Perry standing in gorilla position after his all-in pre-show match against Hook. Hook's there too, looking pretty chilled and cool. And Samoa Joe is pacing up and down ahead of his opener against Punk. Punk then walks up to Perry, where he appears to talk to him for 20 seconds. Then Punk shoves Perry and gets him in a front choke in 6 seconds of hot action, before Joe and several others pull them apart. Punk seems to swing a right hook, but doesn't really get anyone. And then he starts gesturing aggressively at someone behind the monitors. Other notable mentions, we got the AEW TV debut of distressed Chris Hero, the poor guy, and super chill Malachi Black, who just strolled in with a coffee at the end. In his public statement on firing Punk last September, Khan had said the incident was regrettable and it endangered people backstage. That includes the production staff, the people who help put the show on every week, innocent people who had nothing to do with it. I've been going to wrestling shows for over 30 years. I've been producing them on this network for nearly 4 years. Never in all that time have I ever felt until last Sunday that my security, my safety, my life was in danger at a wrestling show. Meanwhile, Punk had said his version in the Ariel Helwani interview. He had asked Perry why he had to do this dumb internet after Perry had made an insider shot at Punk during his match, and I thought I was doing the responsible thing. I just choked someone a little bit. The responsible thing there, causing a backstage fight minutes before the biggest show in company history. Punk had rather hypocritically accused Hangman Page of being unprofessional for jeopardizing the company's $1 million pay-per-view Double or Nothing in that same interview. Also in the Ariel Helwani chat, Punk said that he told Khan, "You're a clown, I quit," after the brawl, which might be what he's shouting at the end of that clip. Punk claims that's the last time he ever saw Khan in person. So what do we know for sure from the objective God's eye proof of CCTV. Punk started the fight. He did get Perry in a choke, and it lasted 6 seconds. But what do we know for sure about the subjective, emotional proof of fan reaction? This has trudged up a lot of bad feelings, reopened old wounds, and, in my opinion, has significantly backfired. Just look at Tony Schiavone's face when the show cut to the announcer's desk after that segment. He's having WCW flashbacks. The backfiring started in real time. While the footage itself was played without sound on the broadcast, a fan recording shows the crowd audibly chanting CM Punk in the audience. The crowd would chant CM Punk against the heel Bucks later in the show too, something this angle has encouraged. It also made Punk the #1 trend on X, not anything or anyone actually involved in AEW right now. Weirdly, in AEW's upload of the segment to YouTube, the CCTV footage, aka the entire point of the segment, is gone. AEW have also been on a copyright strike spree on social media, with second-hand uploads of the footage being removed. The Young Bucks seemingly acknowledged this reaction, as well as referencing comments from FTR's Cash Wheeler earlier in the night, posting Evie Petty. But they weren't the only ones to reply. Taking to his Instagram story, Punk himself posted a picture of former US President George Bush with the message, "Mission accomplished," a speech where he famously declared victory in Iraq for most of the fighting and casualties still to come. In kayfabe, the heel Bucks, representing heel AEW management, made CM Punk a babyface. In AEW's own kayfabe terms, Punk standing up to then heel Perry, having a brief altercation far less violent than other backstage angles we see every week, is a babyface act. In shoot terms, Punk's version of events from the Helwani interview pretty much matched the footage. While it was unprofessional and a fireable offense, where's the lie? If anything, it casts Tony's version in a different light. I'm not denying an angry Punk yelling at you and being held back is a scary, intimidating incident, but fearing for your life, based on this, that's hyperbole. What do you all think about the Punk footage and AEW's decision to air it? Let me know in the comments down below. But it's Thursday! You know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Samoa Joe was meant to start the episode wrestling Dustin Runnels in an AEW Championship Eliminator match. A nice idea following his brother's WWE title win on Sunday, but Swerve Strickland had other ideas, opening the episode the same way they ended the last one, with a Joe versus Swerve brawl. Strickland took Joe out on the ramp and speared him through a table propped on the barricade, forcing the opener to be postponed until later in the night for medics to check over Joe. Both guys are doing a great job at getting over the intensity of their feud. The commentators added to the chaos, making it feel like the show suddenly had to be made up on the fly with the opening contest scrapped. They played a recap of the no longer best friends angle from last week and reshuffled the TNT Championship match of Adam Copeland defending against Penta to go on next. They wrestled through 2 commercial breaks in a steadily building match with a very exciting final few minutes. Snap power slam on the apron, accidental spear of Alex Abrahantes, a Penta code red off the top rope, but Copeland countered a Penta springboard mid-air with a spear, giving him the win. Seeing that nobody else is talking about this that I've seen, I'm going to assume the brief flash of what appears to be a venue map on the screen during this match was a production mistake. Or maybe that's where the rest of the Punk footage is. Damn, it's the 3 Punk problem. Copeland was jumped by the House of Black's Julia Hart and Brody King afterwards for Willow Nightingale of all people to make the save, furthering her title feud with Hart. For a moment backstage later on, Stokely was trying to build Willow versus Edge for the TNT title, but it sadly turned into the far more logical Willow and Edge versus Julia and Brody next week, in a battle of the TNT and TBS titles. That's right, it's going to be the first ever look at all the great promotional work we do for our valued TV partners, Warner Bros. Discovery, during the rights renegotiation period match. We then got the CM Punk footage, which I've both already covered earlier and now want to forget ever happened, also known as Shivani, as in I'm trying to Shivani this away so hard! FTR cut an impromptu in-ring promo afterwards, asking the Bucks why they would show this, as everyone just wants to move on, and how Dax and Cash do what they do for the wrestlers and the fans, turning the promotion of AEW heel in both kayfabe and reality some more. Dax's line about being thankful for AEW because if not for them, they'd still be shaving each other's backs was the right kind of shot at WWE. Just one line and a larger promo focused on building a match, and one about the pre-Paul Levesque era, the pre-Levesque era. And the final part was an effective sell of their dynasty clash as it told the actual story, who is the best tag team on the planet. But don't worry if you want more second place insecurity, because the very next segment also rose to WWE's bait. After a hype package for Bryan Danielson versus Will Ospreay, a genuine dream match for which they've done a simple, focused build, there is daylight between these two wrestlers at the top of their craft. Which one will emerge victorious at Dynasty? AEW decided to dedicate the opening few minutes of Will's onstage promo to some comments Triple H made at a media scrum. Levesque had implied this year's free agents chose AEW over WWE because it's a lighter schedule, and they're afraid of the grind. He doesn't want those sorts of people in WWE. To me, that's obviously disingenuous, and Levesque's trying to create a false narrative around AEW's actual wins this year. The best response would be for Ospreay to keep doing what he's been doing, putting on incredible in-ring matches on TV week after week. But instead, AEW sent him out to reply to Triple H's comments. Comments I'd forgotten Triple H had even made because it's been a pretty busy week with everything else. It confuses casual fans, it distracts from the better kayfabe story, wastes valuable TV time, and tells rather than shows. These sorts of replies need to be in interviews or on social media, not on your nationally broadcast wrestling programs, otherwise you're just TNA from 2009. Really shows that WWE is getting to AEW. And then came Chris Jericho's storyline. Oh, actually, maybe the over-the-top interpromotional stuff isn't so bad. He teamed with Hook and Shibata to take on Shane Taylor Promotions, and lost it for them when he stopped Hook tagging in after Shibata accidentally kicked Jericho in the face. I don't care about any of this. Hook has fallen so far since January. Jericho's character is stale, and their backstage segment earlier was the first time I noticed some terrible zooming camera work. Is AEW actually trying to become bad era WWE? The best part was Shibata complimenting Renee's necklace via a translator app. Moxley match confirmed. Okada then beat enhancement talent Christiana Agento. Pac came down for a brawl afterwards, but the Bucks jumped in for a 3-on-1 attack as the crowd chanted for CM Punk. That's how spectacularly this angle has backfired. The crowd is chanting CM Punk against the AEW executive Jacksons. In purely kayfabe terms, your booking has made your audience cheer for the other promotion's babyface. FTR ran down for the save, but Okada took them out with a chair to stand tall. Tony Storm laid a championship Charleston champagne toast trap for Thunder Rosa. They've definitely just named that to trip me up. Throwing a glass of bubbly in her eyes and smudging her face paint. Deonna Purrazzo tried to help Rosa, but Thunder pushed her away. This turned into Mariah May versus Anna Jay. There were no stakes or real heat for this. Anna got most of it, but Mariah rolled through at the end for the pin. Jay attacked Mariah after losing, but Stardom's Mina Shirakawa made the save for the heel, got them both champagne, and then kissed May. Nobody knew what was happening. Then Mercedes Moné got a sit-down interview with Alex Marvez, with more crash zoom filming than Modern Family. But where that show at least had multiple shots to cut to, this only had the one, zooming in and out of Mercedes' face like it was Kevin Dunn getting off on a Cesaro swing. Mercedes again said nothing of substance, the lights cut out, and Moné was mystery attacked. It could be Julia. It could be Willow. It could be Statlander on Stokely's orders. Whatever it is, it's taking too long to get to the wrestling factory. Even the main event of this episode had its flaws. Initially, I really liked the booking. Samoa Joe is an expert at being wounded or scared, but still incredibly intimidating. That's what he did here. Still selling the effects of his swerve beatdown at the start of the show. Even with that, he felt like a bully. A great way to get people invested in Dustin's story. Unfortunately, Dustin never got enough to really make you believe. And for the finish, He just got that AEW World title to use on Joe right in front of the referee. It made Dustin look stupid, using a spot more suited to a blood feud where you don't care about getting DQ'd, rather than what this story was. Trying to win a world title like your brother just did, which means you should absolutely not get DQ'd. It was really just a lazy way to get a heel victory. Joe used the title instead behind the referee's back to win. Joe continued the beatdown afterwards, but Swerve attacked him and posed with the belt. Joe and Swerve's feud was the only successful thing on this episode, and even then, it didn't really move forward. This is by far the worst episode of AEW I've ever seen. Damaging, petty, backfiring. 20%. But I've got my own CM Punk footage of me reacting to CM Punk. Here's a clip.